man. I do what I do.
It's a lot of people don't understand why Black Americans don't support these illegal immigrant raids and why they're not out marching. The thing you have to understand is culturally, our culture, and I'm talking about foundational Black Americans, those Black Americans who can trace their heritage to the plantations of North America. Our culture was designed and wrapped around the fact that we needed to survive slavery and racism. And so we are always going to come together against racism. We are a very different people. Even when we came here on these boats, we, different languages, different people, same skin color for the most part, but different cultural backgrounds. We survive because we come together against racism. Our culture, our food, our language, our dance, everything we do is based on the fact that we had a set of circumstances that we needed to traverse so that our children and our children's children could get through to the next generation. And so when you have a group of people who exhibit anti-Black racism like Latinos, when you have a group of people like Africans who, from the continent, who are in fact our brothers and sisters, who talk reckless about us and are off code, who would rather be Sambo types and run up behind white folk and try to pretend like white folk are the best thing that ever happened to them, and knowing that their history of colonization and colonialism, then we see them for what they are, as a foolish people. Same thing with Asians. You got these people who are considered to be, in some respects, the model minority. Yet when I look through history, I look at all the bombings and all the atrocities and the wars. The first atomic bomb was dropped on two Asian cities in Japan, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So, you know, we see them as foolish. And no matter how much progress you make in this country, you have to always understand that white supremacy racism is always going to try to make sure that white people are on top. That's a cultural thing. Now, the difference between white folks and Black folks is that white people will occupy both sides of the argument. So on one hand, you got these right-wing redneck Republicans riding around in pickup trucks talking about, I don't like you. And then on the other hand, you got these white liberals who pretend like, oh my God, I want to be you, I empathize with you. And the truth is, Black folks have realized that the damn liberals are as racist, if not more racist and destructive than the Republicans. And that's why you have so many Black folks right now who are cool on the Democrat Party, because they like, look, yeah, bobbles, stuff like welfare, and on its face, I guess it's a good thing. But then generation after generation goes by and we realize just how debilitating it is. So when we start evaluating which side should we fall on, Black folks are like, look, we understand most of the Republicans just straight up don't like us because of our existence. But we also understand that these so-called Democrats, these liberals, are doing the same thing. They don't like us because of that existence, so they want to push abortion in the community. They want to separate families through welfare. Hell, look at the fact that the Democratic presidents, Bill Clinton and the former president, Joe Biden, signed into law the 1994 crime bill, which became the 1995 criminal law, that has gone so far in separating and destroying the Black family that it may be impossible for us to even recover. And so this is what Black folks are looking at. And at this point, if you got a bunch of people who have practiced anti-Black racism like Latinos, not just here, but also in their own countries. But if we want to just look at here, look at the construction sites. One Latino comes in, next thing he's hiring all his Latino family and friends and members of his community, and they're pushing Blacks out. We have 50,000 new jobs that Black men have gained in the month of April. 50,000 jobs. All of this coincides with the fact that you have Latinos who are being deported. So Black folks directly benefit from the deportation of Latinos or illegal immigrants. And we've known this the whole time. Yet we were willing to vote for Kamala Harris, and had she won, none of this would be happening right now, and it would have been our demise. Yet 81% of Black folks still voted for Kamala Harris. That lets you know just how not racist we are, just how anti-racist we are. Trump was perceived as the racist. Many can perceive otherwise. I'm not saying he's racist, but the racist thinks he was a racist. You understand what I'm talking about? I personally voted for Trump because I'm more interested in my taxes. And for me, it's all about being an American and what's best for America. Black folks, generally, the good, wonderful, lovely black people that you all love to talk about so badly, they wanted to save America from what you see happening right now. Nevertheless, you had Latinos to the tune of 60%. Who did they vote for? They voted for Donald Trump, and now they're getting what they asked for. They're getting the result that they voted for. So you can't be mad at black folks who don't want to participate. You let your racism show. You wanted to be white so bad. You wanted to sit next to that white man. You wanted his approval. And at the end of the day, he and she, they will never let Latinos be white. They barely let Jewish people be white. They still talk bad about the Irish. The Italians are still suspect as far as they're concerned. And now here comes the Latinos who want to prove themselves to be white. The doors, the room is closed. You're not going to be able to get into the white room of privilege. This is not South America. This is not Central America. This is the United States of America. And irrespective of how your social class is treated there because of the light of your skin, that's not what we do out here. Now, that being the case, the biggest mistake the Latinos made was they aligned themselves with white supremacy racism. You got dark brown Mexicans who voted for Donald Trump, knowing that Donald Trump specifically said we're going to deport these people. Now, they fooled themselves into thinking, oh, no, he doesn't mean us. Yes, the hell he did mean you. And now you want to cry and complain because black folks are not sitting out there with you on the front lines getting beat up and bashed in. And now they have the Marines in L.A. and the National Guard and the curfew. That's not us. Again, our culture as black people has been developed and changed and enhanced so that we can survive in this country where we have always been a small minority. Now, some people will say we're 13% of the population, but the truth is we've always been around 9%. And when I say 9%, I'm talking about foundational black Americans. We've always been only 9% of the population. This extra 3 to 4% you see coming in this country, these are immigrants, these are Caribbeans, these are Caribbeans, these are Africans. They now comprise approximately 25%. We're not the same culture. We are not, we might look alike, we might share some similarities, but culturally speaking, we're like night and day. They don't even understand our culture. If you ask a typical Caribbean from Jamaica or Trinidad, they'll tell you that black Americans don't understand, don't have a culture because they can't even understand it. The only way they really begin to understand culture, the black American culture, foundational black American culture, is when they realize, damn, we are suffering over here. But as long as they hide behind black American culture, cool. But the minute you start deporting Jamaicans to the tune of 5,000, Africans to the tune of 6, 7, 8,000, that's when they want to come run and say, oh yeah, well we're the black people, we're black too, we're brothers. That's not how it goes. Black people on code, not because we think alike, not even because we get along, but because this is what our culture says. Our culture says if there is someone who is overtly racist, if there's a policy that's overtly racist, we will come together and fight against it. No matter whether we like each other or not, no matter if you are rich, poor, whether you're an athlete or a regular old Joe Blow working in a mill or a plant somewhere, we will come together against. That's why, for the most part, you have all these black people who are on the same page when it comes to fighting against what we perceive as a threat that can remove us from this country. And we've been successful at it. Whether we're talking about slavery, whether we're talking about the 100 years of Jim Crow, we survived. We're talking about redlining, we survived. We're talking about the prison industrial complex, which specifically targeted black people, we survived. Whether you're talking about drugs and these AIDS and all these different things, we survived. Even now, we are having something called a gender war, but we're still surviving. Because at the end of the day, we understand that it is about us surviving racism as a very tiny minority in this country. And that's it. So for you Latinos out there, you can't expect the majority of black people to come to your aid because you showed your racism. Same thing for our African brothers. You showed your disrespect and your ignorance. And everybody else. This is it. This is where we are. This is Uncle D. I love y'all. And as I always say at this time, I'm out.